Kamal, good morning. What everybody is doing is what's on the slide. They've cut a star out of a notebook or a photocopy paper. They've written their names, folded the petals in, and then put it in a dish of water. And some of them have started posting their observations also. Obviously, be aware of what are your thoughts and feelings when you started, what are your thoughts and feelings now, as things happening to that to your star. How are your thoughts? What are your thoughts and feelings? Just be aware. Oh, Neetu is saying can't see the screen. Others, are you able to see the screen? The slide? Okay. Neetu, I can give you instructions verbally, or maybe you need to re-log in. Okay. If you have done by now, you can start sharing your what were your thoughts and feelings at the beginning, then what are your thoughts and feelings now, what is happening, what are you thinking. People can come on mic and start sharing. Kusum can share, Shilpa, Shristi, I think you guys have all done. Yeah, please come on the mic, share, Shristi share, Shilpa share, Kusum.
Yeah, Ratnesh, can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're still in the well, huh? You haven't
Ratnesh,
come.
can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear you. Little feeble, and you haven't still come out of your well anyway. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll try to say loudly. Actually, in the beginning, when you said that I should cut a paper like a star, and when I saw the slide, I said, how is this related to natural intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't make it. Then later, when I put the star on the paper and it opened up, it was a wonderful feeling. It was amazing. I didn't know how it opened. I still can't make it out, but it was beautiful seeing my name. Well, my daughter's name actually. My daughter made it.
Okay.
It was wonderful to see that the way it opened up.
Okay. Okay. Others? come on, guys, share. Kusum, Shilpa, Neetu. By now, I think all of you would have done it. Or even if it's happening, you can see it happening.
Hello.
Yeah, Shilpa.
Yeah, when I did this, when I was doing it, when I placed the folded star in the dish of water,
Mm-hmm.
and when it was opening up like a flower, all the sides. So it was so beautiful. It was amazing to see that. I've never, tried anything like that or
Mm-hmm.
seen anything like that. The first thing was like, wow, it's so amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. More thoughts apart from yes. So one part of it is that this is amazing. Uh, whatever other thoughts are coming in your mind.
After that, I was just wondering, I mean, never tried something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just thinking, why is it happening that way, trying to, uh, you know,
Kind of
find
analyze it.
out, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
analyze, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
analyze why, it's happening that way. Because that is the first question that, struck my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just thinking on that.
Okay. Okay. Others, Neetu, Kusum, Kamal, you want to add or share your thoughts?
Um, I was expecting that it would open up, but not so quick
Mm-hmm.
while making it. And when I saw this opening up, I felt that I should now try more experiments
Mm-hmm.
because I feel it could be something with the fold.
Mm-hmm.
Folded paper is put into water, then it might be soaking something. So let me experiment with other shapes and show it to my son.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These are the thoughts which came to my mind.
Okay. Kusum, Neetu. In fact, I remember Kusum in the chat window mentioned the petals opened up funny. So her reaction was more of, oh, this is funny. That's interesting. Kusum, would you like to share more? Oh, it's showing Kusum is offline. Okay. Any other thoughts coming now that we have been, others have been sharing and you might have already shared? Avinash has joined just now. Avinash, so we did what is there on the screen. We are just sharing what happened and how we are looking at it. So, anybody, any other thoughts coming to your mind? Whatever is coming to your mind. Any other feelings, thoughts? So, although you might have shared, I'm thinking you want to share more.
Like
Yeah,
suddenly
Shrishti.
I had a feel. Yeah, suddenly I had a feeling that after attending these sessions, my brain is opening up like that. Like this, yeah.
Oh, okay, like that. Oh, a little philosophical take on it. Okay.
Suddenly
Okay.
I'm realizing that there are so many things around me which I haven't been noticing,
Hmm.
which I with my daughter. There, I don't know. It's like a treasure island. I had mentioned that in one of my posts today.
Right. So you have to literally throw yourself into water. Then you will open up. Okay, so she's got a little philosophical take on it. Priya is saying thrilling and interesting. Okay, more thoughts? Anybody more thoughts? Avinash, I hope, is trying this while others are sharing. No more thoughts? That's it? Okay, let me ask you a slightly different question. Let us assume that I was a whatever, I have announced a program that you don't know me. Let us say I'm Mr. XYZ, and you don't really know me, but I have announced a program saying, hey, science workshop for children, for your child, right? And I've invited you for a small orientation, yeah, for that. So remember, you don't assume that you don't know me, and I've announced this program of whatever X thousand rupees for X number of Y number of sessions, and you come for this orientation, and in this orientation, I show this whatever I make you do this, whatever you did just now, the star thingy. Um, and then I asked, would you like to join your child into my science workshop? So, what would be your response? Yeah, for people who've come in just now, I think Ritu, Avinash, we're just doing the discussing rather. We did the star thingy, which is there on the screen. And we're just discussing what happened, how do we take this. Yeah, so respond to my question.
Hi, Ratnesh, Shilpa here.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this is shown, in the orientation,
Mm-hmm.
uh, since somewhere, I just got a thought right now that
Mm-hmm.
since I do not know this, what happened, so it's completely new to me.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, I would definitely be amazed by it, and I would think, yeah, they are. It would open up, it would help my child to learn a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But somewhere, if I would already know this, I would say, oh, what is this? That ये तो कितना simple है. ये
Sure. So
सिखाएंगे क्या?
yeah,
I mean,
right, right. So
yeah.
you
So
didn't
that,
knew this. So you didn't knew this, right?
yeah,
So
if
respond
yeah,
in that
if
way.
I yeah, if I would not know this, I would be really, I would be like, wow, it is amazing, and
Will
I
you be
would
impressed?
definitely go for it.
Will you be
Yes, yes,
impressed?
definitely.
Have I impressed
Yeah,
you all
yeah.
already in the first 20 minutes of the session? Have I impressed you all? Yeah, others? Will you be impressed enough to sign up your child for my workshop? Deepali saying always. No, no, I'm XYZ. I'm not Ratnesh here. So, it was a Tessa. I don't know what is Tessa, unless that's a typo. Okay, yes. Right. So you will be signing up, and why are you impressed? Why would you like to sign up? I want to hear that. So, including Shilpa, why would you, apart from being impressed, I mean, what do you think? Why are you ready to sign up for a science workshop done by a person who has done a demo like this? Because in the demo maybe I'm showing you this, I'm making you do this, and then maybe I'm explaining you the scientific phenomena behind this, and I'll say, hey, I'm going to do um, this science workshop. Oh, Shishti won't sign up immediately. Difficult to get Shishti to sign up. Okay, so uh, so tell me, why would you sign up? Why would you not sign up? What is it that you liked? What is it that you did not like about this orientation that I did? I know you may want to check my credentials and all that. That's okay. But I'm saying this person XYZ is doing this demonstration, saying, and then explaining why this happens, and then asking you, would you like your child to sign up?
Sign up because anybody can show us some new kind of an chemical or new kind of an element and show magic with it. But showing this kind of magic with something which we already know about. We know about paper, we know about gold, but we were never able to see it in that way. So from the day-to-day objects, creating that magic or seeing the magic in those day-to-day objects is something unique, is something different. So that's the reason signing up would be because then I can definitely expect that my son would be able to go and learn things from the things which are very easily accessible to him.
Hmm.
He would be able to see magic in everything he does and not buy some magic object and bring it and say it's magical thing.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
magic should be from what you are doing, what you are seeing, wherever you are, you should be able to see that magic or create that magic from that.
So why do you call this magic? Is this something you have seen before?
No, I have not seen it before,
Sure.
though, like, when said to fold it and open, I mean, fold it and put it, I expect it will open because that's what we normally see. That's something. But then, it would be so simple and so differently it should be able to open, like it opened up so quick. So it was like, wow, you can do it at home also. So that's the reason magic means something, which can
Right, but
surprise you, which
are you sure you haven't seen it happen before?
I might have, but I mean, probably not done it experimentally, like.
Okay, not done experimentally. Okay, okay. Others, any thoughts about why would you sign up? Why would you not sign up? Yep, anybody? Yeah, Shrishti.
Hello. Yeah, Ramesh.
Yeah,
I would
Shrishti.
not sign up. I would not sign up immediately because I would like to know that will he just be showing the experiment or will he encourage thinking in my child? Now that I have done this PPT, I know how important is thinking rather than knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So experiment for me is not that important.
Mm-hmm.
If he is children for thinking by showing them the experiments and not telling them why it's happening, then maybe I'll be interested further to go up. But experiments we can get anywhere. Anywhere, if we open up our Google, we'll find so many experiments.
Hmm.
But yes, the technique which he'll incorporate in it, that's very important. So I would like to talk to that person whosoever is going to do this science workshop or whatever.
Okay, okay. Anybody wants to add to what Shrishti and Kamal have been sharing? So personally, whenever I do this little whatever you can call it activity uh, with people, I actually feel sad. Um, when I do this and when people respond, I actually actually feel sad. Why do you think I feel sad? When and not just with you all, I'm just saying in general, when I do this with a group of people, everybody seems to be very awed, impressed, and so on. Um, and I actually feel sad. So in a way, I do this whole experiment not to feel, not to impress anybody, but actually to feel sad. Why would you think I would feel sad? Now I know when you started off, you did that, you were feeling amazing, and now I'm talking about sadness. So I'm kind of little changing the feelings channel here. But I want you to think about it. Why is this guy feeling sad with this experiment? Or whenever I did it first, whenever I did it, I actually, and I was doing it in a group, and the group was super excited, and I was actually feeling sad. And then from then on, I've used this many, 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 many times, and every time I feel sad.
Probably because something as simple as folding a paper and putting it in water is something which we have never experimented. Is that what makes you feel that why people are not experimenting such simple things like keeping a
Okay.
folded paper in water? Not so.
Okay, so that's one aspect, yeah. So one aspect could be that why haven't people done this? Um, but there's more to it than just that expectation that why haven't people done this or why haven't I done
Uh,
this?
yeah, Ratnesh, this is Neetu here.
Yeah, Neetu.
I was feeling that way, but I thought it was too philosophical. I just feel like the star in us, we are just folding and compressing it, closing it, and not like and just putting it aside and not allowing it to float or open up. When I wrote my name on that and it was closing it, I didn't have a very good feeling. Then I was like, okay, let me try the experiment, what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how did you feel when it did open up?
Yeah, when it opened up, it was nice. It's like, okay, a simple thing like water. So this soft, it could open up. It could open us up.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay, though that's not really, though my take is not philosophical.
okay.
Yeah, fine. One can relate it to one's opening up and etc., which some of you mentioned. But I'm not sad because on the philosophical note. In fact, I don't see this as philosophical, though one can obviously see it as philosophical, and there's nothing wrong in that. Um, but I'm sad for another reason. Anybody wants to guess?
Ratish, yeah, just a few minutes back I said that probably we would have seen this thing earlier, but we don't recollect we don't recollect experimenting with it. So now I'm able to remember that just a few days back I made a paper boat for Daksh, and within few minutes all the folds opened up.
Hmm.
So now I can recognize that yes, we have seen this, folds opening up when we use a paper boat in water, but we
Okay.
never looked at it in experimenting way.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you another question. How many of you think that this is a science experiment? Or at least thought, even if you don't think now, thought 5 minutes back that, wow, this is a nice science experiment. Come on, respond. Either you thought or you did not think. So, whichever way, there is no right or wrong about it. Okay, possibly Neetu took it as a philosophical philosophical experiment. So when we are talking about nature intelligence and we're talking about science, and I'm right now going to interchangeably use these two. We'll specifically come to nature intelligence just a little while. Um, when we are talking of it as science or as something to learn from, uh, why do I feel sad is precisely for this reason. Because to me, what has happened is that science has become experiments, or rather, experiments have become science. And some of you have already mentioned, so I might be kind of collating your thoughts and adding my thoughts to it. But what has happened is that we've started treating science experiments as science. If I do experiment, that's why I was asking you, would you like to sign up for my class? Because a lot of times when we are impressed with an experiment, when we see somebody doing an experiment, we think, my child is learning science, right? Typically, when we think of science, people reach out to a book on science experiment. And what does a science experiment book contain? Something like this. It will ask you to do something, and when you do something, something happened, and then it will explain you what happens. But what I really want you to do is pause for a minute and say, hey, is that what science says? Or is that what we want the child to learn? Meaning, even if a child did this, and even if the child was, told or whatever, the child read that this is what is the science behind this paper opening up, is that what is science? Is that what is nature intelligence? That is what I want you to think. And that is why it makes me sad, because when people talk about science, people talk about science as an experiment, and people talk about explanations. I'll give you a small story to kind of connect all these dots or thoughts together. There was recently I heard about a year back that there is an organization which runs these mobile science labs, and they go to village and kind of taking these experiments to children. And then my one of my friend was sharing that not only that, they have now come up with the idea of a mobile science lab, because the vans can't reach everywhere. So we will use mobile bikes, as in people will go on bikes, reach to remotest of the villages, and there they will conduct these science experiments, and that is how the children will get exposed to science. And I was like amazed. I was like, what are we up to? Right? Is the child in that village which can't be reached via van, does he need somebody to come on a bike for him to experience science? Are we saying that? Or have we created, kind of a monster called science, and now we need to feed this monster uh, through experiments, through these mobile vans and through these motorcycles and through these experiments and through these equipments and all that. Why isn't there is so much science in that little boy's village, which is disconnected from everywhere. There is science all around him, right? He picks up his hands, there is science in it. He picks up a little water in his palm, there is science in it. He looks around into whatever, the nature around him, there is science in it. He looks up, there is science in it. He makes food, there is science in it. He breathes, there is science in it. There is science every single moment around him. But no, 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 no. He can't learn science. We have to package it into a nice experiment and take it to him and show him the experiment and make him clap on it and then tell him the explanation, and that is how he will learn science. What do you think? Have we really understood what is science, or have we, once again, very similar to maths, packed it into a thing called a subject and then created books or whatever resources called experiments, and then we think that we are learning science? Are we really learning science? Is that what science is all about? Yeah, to know why this paper opens up or why something happens. Is that what science is all about? Or is that just mere information? Then what is science and what are we doing with it? What do you say? Which is why it makes me sad. Now, another example that I like, a favorite of mine, is that people go on a safari. They'll go, "Hey, I visited that jungle." I said, "Okay, yeah, awesome." And then they'll say, "Yeah, we went on a safari." I said, "Okay, good, but we didn't see anything in the safari." I said, "Why? No leopard, no tiger, no nothing. Waste of time." And I'm like, zap, right? You went into a jungle. You spend maybe 3 hours there, and you say you didn't see anything in the safari? Well, you didn't see the tiger, but you missed the whole jungle. There are possibly zillion creatures in that jungle. There are millions of trees and billions of insects, hundreds of trees, thousands of birds, butterflies, flowers, creepers, rocks, and so on and so forth. And you missed all that. And you're saying we didn't see the tiger. And this whole thinking that, oh, we went for a safari, but we didn't see a tiger, that typifies the whole learning about science. It's all about glamour. It's all about impressing. It's all about some knowledge that I can throw. If you do something and a child throws you, auntie, this is this, or uncle, this is this, throws you a definition, throws you something. We are all impressed. What do you say? Are you all there? Sorry, did I say something which didn't make any sense? Or did I say something which makes some sense to you? Pondering. Okay, then it's fine. So go back and see how uh, we learn science, or we teach science, or children learn science. And think about it. Is that what is nature intelligence? Is that what is science? Again, I'm using the terms interchangeably. Yeah, let me put this little comic strip. In fact, I tell children and adults that one of the most beautiful answers, if anybody asks a science question, or science related question or nature related question. By nature, I just don't mean the nature outside, but everything that exists uh, in physical form. So to me, the most beautiful answer is I don't know, because that to me is a mind which is ready to explore, a mind which is ready to experiment, not in the terms of science experiment, but experiment which comes out of me, not out of some textbook or a book on experiment. To me, if somebody has already designed something in a book and said, do this, do this, do this, then observe this, and this means this, how is that an experiment? An experiment has to start with my question. I need to be thinking, hey, why does this happen? Or how does this happen? Or what makes this happen? Or when does this happen? And so on. And when I start thinking this why and the how and the what and the when and so on, then I start experimenting, which is different from doing a science experiment. And when I do that kind of experimenting and exploring and I try different things, and then I'm kind of figuring out things. Maybe many of the things I don't figure out. Maybe some of the things I figure out. But then I start my journey of what I call as nature intelligence, which is what, again, if I go back to a 1 year old, that is what a 1 year old does. 1 year old is constantly exploring. He'll take out something, he will throw something, he will bite something, he will bang something, he will do all kinds of things. Yeah, if you give an orange to a 1.5 year old, what will she do? She will possibly throw it or put the skin in her mouth and taste the rind and the kind of bitter taste it comes, and possibly spat it out and smash it and see the juice oozing out if she's able to smash it. Uh, or if you give her even a slice of orange, she'll possibly smash it, and the juice that trickles down from her hand, and maybe she'll try to lick her own elbow to taste the juice. And what we'll say, chi 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 chi, don't do this. I'll give it to you in a nice, you know, juice packet or a glass. But what is she doing? And what beautiful thing she is doing. And she'll try to bite and smell and smudge and just explore everything and make her own thoughts and conclusions about it. And not that she's stuck on her conclusion. This 1.5 year old is very open, very ready to change her conclusions. Because the next experiment and the next exploration, which may happen a day later, a week later, a year later, shows her something totally different. And now she attacks the same thing in a very different way. So to me, a 1 year old is naturalistically intelligent, while a 10 year old is possibly packed up with science knowledge. Uh, but his nature intelligence or her nature intelligence by now is simmered down to, I will give you a textbook and then you will, or I will show you an experiment, or you will join a workshop, or a mobile van will come to you and then you will learn science. What do you say? Now I'll wait for your thoughts. Yeah, Shrishti.
Yeah, actually, you are absolutely true. My 2 year old, I I have always been trying to develop her curiosity and let her do whatever she wants to do. So she does every time she takes water to drink, uh, and she drinks how whatever she wants, and then rest she deliberately she pours it. She tilts the glass and pours it here and there. And I never every time I feel like, oh my God, she's spilling it. I have to wipe it. But then I never stop her. Uh, 2 days ago, I gave her a glass of milk to drink. I gave it to her. She got a sieve from the kitchen, a net in which we try to we wash our vegetables and everything. She got
Right.
it and she told me, give it to me in this. I said, huh? You want a glass of milk in that? Okay, you go ahead. And then she poured the entire glass of milk in that and it went on the floor. But I
Right.
let her do it because I wanted her to know what happens. No, I give her a dish and pour lots of powder in it, and sometimes I put lots of sauce in it, and I give her a lot many things like that to experiment, to let her feel what it is all about. I That's what I felt that this yes, this is what natural intelligence is.
Makes a lot of
Within my
sense to
own
me.
constraints, yeah,
Yeah. Oh.
within my own constraints, within this little small house which I have, I try to give her maximum exposure.
Oh, you don't have a little house. Please don't even say that. You have a huge, huge science lab. You don't have a house. As far as your child goes, for her, it's a huge science lab where everything, right from the brick to the floor to the water to the milk to the sieve to whatever you can think of, is worth exploring, experimenting. So it's a huge lab. And if you go outdoors, then the whole world is your lab. Right? Often people ask me, "Oh, do you have a science lab?" I said, "Ayo, where? Where do you want me to get this science lab from? I live in a science lab. I exist in a science lab. I breathe. My body is a science lab. Why do I need a science lab when I live in one?" So you don't live in a small house. You live in a huge science lab called whatever, Earth or universe, if I may even extend it beyond the atmosphere. So maybe you can rephrase this. I've got a small lab called universe. Which is why I would like people to think, what are we doing with science? What are we doing with knowledge? Have we glorified it that much that somebody who can rattle off 50 answers and mugged up the textbook or knows the answers in the textbooks thinks that we knows the science? For me, the most humbling experience was when I came out and started this campus here. And this campus being in nature, I suddenly realized I don't know anything. I don't know anything about trees. I don't know anything about plants. I don't know anything about crops. I don't know much anything about anything. And I said, hey, my education starts now. So 3 years back, when we came into this beautiful place, beautiful campus, we started our journey of actually learning. And now if anybody asks me, oh, you've been, working with the plants and also, so you must be having a significant amount of knowledge. I said, yeah, if you count 0.0000001 as significant, then yes, I've got that much, or maybe not even that much. My knowledge is almost zero because what I thought I knew seems to doesn't work. Now, how many of you, when you think of growing a plant, where will you put the plant? What's the first thought that comes to your mind? Somebody says, I want to grow this plant. Let's say it gives you a small plant. Where will you put that plant?
I think it depends on the plant type, because there are certain plants which grow only in the shade,
Mm-hmm.
and although most of the plants I've seen, they grow in the sunlight, they require sunlight, but there are certain plants which grow in the shade. So
Yeah, but
probably
where will you get some soil or mud to put that plant in? I was there with the plant, as in just the physical plant is given to you. What will you do?
okay.
Yeah, Avinash
Now
Singh.
there are shops where we can buy all that stuff, you know. But
Yeah.
when we were kids, I remember when we were kids, we used to go up to a hill in when I used to go to my uncle's place at Ulasnagar. So there used to be a hill. So we used to go there, dig the hill and basically get the soil from there, and then we used to plant them. And so it was like free of cost soil. And then
Right.
I used to also get the cow dung and then make it like crush it and put it inside the mud, because we were told that with the cow dung works as a manure. So to crush the cow dung and put that.
So
We have
Kamal,
tried to.
so Kamal, where do plants get their food from?
Uh, Plants, they get food from, one is from the roots initially, and then from the leaves. Using the photosynthesis, basically they are able to get it. So roots and leaves both are important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is my awareness. I'm not sure it might be the otherwise also.
Yeah, yeah. So just to kind of play around with this, I've been growing all kinds of plants just in water, all kinds of, and some with some amazing results, which made me realize, oh, the plants really don't need soil. Do they need soil? Not really. Can they grow in water? Most of them, yes. So I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong. All I'm saying is what I was thinking was wrong. It was amazing. It is amazing still. I'm just so zapped every day with the kind of stuff that happens. And I thought I knew. Try that. Throw any seed. Throw up whatever a small plant into just a bowl of water and see how beautifully it thrives. It doesn't need any mud.
So I think then maybe the mud is required only for the plant to stay and not to lose the place.
Yeah, so then the other reason, I'm not saying that the mud isn't required, or I'm not trying to suggest something very different. All I'm saying is that uh, we have at least, okay, forget we, I had so many of these, so much of this science knowledge in me, right? And now I realize that almost all that science knowledge is very, very limited. Is very limited. Is almost not like a science knowledge. It's almost that because I know, I don't know, right? And the problem is I think that I know. That's the bigger problem. And nowhere so much true as in science, right? Because people are so sure in science. People think that they have got the facts. At least I used to think that I have all the facts because I used to score well in science. This was one thing that interested me, so I used to score well in science. Yeah, so Ritu has another point. Yes, put it in mud and see it grows better. See it in water and see it grows better. Maybe not even just seed and water. Try it in a closed jar, in an open jar, in an open jar in the shade, closed jar in the shade. Have some 15 different kinds of you know, just recently somebody came and he said, "Hey, you seem to have nurseries all over the place." I said, none of them are nurseries. They're all experiments. I'm trying to grow some things here differently, some things here differently, some things here differently. I don't even know which will lead to what kind of results, and I'm still learning. But what I know is that what I knew was all wrong, or extremely limiting. let's do a simple activity, right? What I want you to do is do two things. First, take your palm in front of your mouth and blow in it with your lips, with your lips almost closed, like a very narrow opening, something like this. Almost make a little tiny little opening and blow on your palm. And once you've done that few times, now I want you to open your mouth wide and blow on your palm, something like a big mouth. And what do you observe? And what do you think is happening?
With the tiny mouth, we are able to feel the pressure and the force.
Come again, Kamal?
Yeah, with the tiny mouth, when we are opening it tiny, we are able to feel the pressure, the cool air blowing it. Whereas when we open the mouth wide, I mean, we don't even feel that air.
Okay, but okay, so one is the speed. You're saying that one comes with a pressure, the other one doesn't come with a pressure. That is one. Two, what Avinash has put, the narrow one is
Cold.
cold. And what happens when
Yeah.
you open your wide mouth? What happens to your breath now, or to the air coming out now?
It's warm.
Right. So what happened? Why is that happening? Think about it and tell me pronto. Why is it's the same mouth, it's the same breath.
Probably when we yeah, so basically when we narrow that mouth, then what happens is probably that the saliva it gives that cooling effect because it's able to be there for a time for a few seconds before it comes out. Whereas when we so it was like a when you put a wet curtain on the window, you are able to feel that cool air. When there's no curtain, then you can feel the hot air coming inside. Something similar to that.
Okay. That is one. Ritu is saying moisture. Ritu, you'll have to explain that, right? What moisture are we talking about? Is your thought similar to Kamal's? But more importantly, we would have noticed this. I'm sure you would have used the cold one to blow on your cuts and wounds, and used the warm one to blow onto somebody's eye, or if when something goes, when you need the warmth. So why is this happening? How many times have you thought about it? Yeah, Ritu, go ahead. Tell us, why is it happening?
Uh, so I think similar to what Kamal was saying, but and if we put enough pressure, even with an open mouth, we can feel the air actually. But if you put the same pressure, then a smaller opening, we can feel the air. But in if our mouth is wide open, we don't feel the pressure.
Mhm.
And I
So why is
think
the temperature changing? The moisture in your mouth is the same,
yeah.
but why is the temperature
Uh,
changing? And as I said, more importantly, have you wondered about it before? Have you thought about it before? Meaning, in your whatever X years of existence on this earth, have you wondered what's happening inside your mouth, and why is one kind of mouth giving out cool air and with force, while another kind is giving warm air but without the force? That's more important to me. Have you wondered that? I'm not saying you need to have the right answer. I don't even know what's the answer. Maybe you know, so that's fine. Yeah, Ritu.
I have wondered some of the things, but not the cold and warm probably, but the pressure, yeah. Now that I'm thinking, it's probably warm because the air inside the mouth is warmed up by the insides of the mouth and it comes out more slowly. But when we are blowing with a small opening, it comes out too fast, so it doesn't get time to heat up or something like that. I'm just wondering, still wondering.
Yeah. And I hope you're realizing how little we know and how exciting it can be to explore. Yeah, we have been, using this mouth, but we don't even know what's happening inside it or outside it or when it is blowing out. We know there's a temperature difference. We know because we intuitively use it when we need cool on something, when we want to cool our cup of tea. We don't do a wide mouth, but when we need a little fog on our specs, we do open our mouth wide and little fog our specs to clean them. So we do use them, possibly without thinking. But to me, if we start there, if we start wondering, start realizing that I don't know, and there's so much to explore, then that's the beginning of nature intelligence. And that to me is all. Meaning I don't need I don't need to do anything to learn nature intelligence or develop it. I just need to wonder. I just need to question. I just need to explore. I just need to experiment. I just need to be with the I don't know. Now, much like how Einstein said, it's not that I know the answers, it's just that I stay with the problem more. Can I stay with the problem more? Not even the problem, the thought, the phenomena, the nature, whatever is happening around me. But no, we want an answer, we want a knowledge, we want to explain something quickly. Yep, any thoughts, any experiences? Okay, so let's do a small kind of activity. We'll come back to this slide. Yeah, this one. So I'll come back to the twinkling stars in just a little while. Um, I want to make small groups. So let's make groups of two people so that you can chat. Um, so I'm starting with Avinash. Aparna is there. Aparna, you want to be part of this activity, then you'll have to, or you just want to be an observer, then it's fine. So let's take, okay, Avinash, can you be with Shrishti? Okay, so Aparna is observer. So Avinash is with Shrishti and Kamal is with Shilpa and Kusum is with Ritu. Okay, that leaves Neetu out. Oh, no. Neetu wants to be an observer. Okay. I thought Neetu would like to take part. Okay, so let's take Neetu and Dipali. Would you like to pair up just for fun? Is that okay, Neetu? So pairs made. So okay, so Avinash and Shrishti, you take up the first topic. Learn about caterpillars and butterflies. Uh, Kamal and Shilpa, you take up the second topic. Explore different kinds of rocks. Right. Kusum and Ritu, you take up understand some body parts, say dental needs. And Dipali and Neetu, you take up be sensitive to trees. Topics clear? Everybody just give me a quick yes. And then you start. So what you have to do is very simple. You have to come up with ideas of how would you get children to whatever learn about the topics are given on the screen. So you have to come up with ideas. What will you do with children? Suppose you are with a group of children. You can assume whatever age you want to assume. You can assume mixed age group. That's even better. What would you do with any age group? Age group is not important. You can specify your age group. what would you do for them to be able to do these? It, yeah. So so you know your topic. So I'll give you about let's say about 5 7 minutes, 5 minutes. So you can use private chat with each other. If you want to call each other on the phone, that's also possible. Then go ahead, type your phone number, and one of you can call the other, and you can actually talk on the phone. Um, Spend 5 7 minutes about coming up with ideas. Note them down somewhere, and then we'll share and discuss. Is it clear? If you have any doubt, ask me. Okay, all done? Ready to discuss? Or rather share whatever ideas you have got? I think you got about 10 minutes. Yep, would you like to, any group would like to share? Wait, I'll also document them. So just give me a moment. I'll pull up a slide. Yep, any team can start sharing the ideas.
We can talk about the ideas about exploring different kinds of rocks.
Okay,
So Shilpa and me discussed about what we can do to explore different kind of rocks with children. It's basically like we say in a city where it's more of a concrete, so we can take them to places where they can find different types of rocks, like maybe gardens or also the jogging areas. There you can see a lot of different types of rocks, and then basically allowing them to pick up those rocks, asking them questions regarding the shape, the feel of the rocks, and also the sound they make when thrown at different objects, what kind of the sound the rocks make, the color of the rocks, and also asking them to put them in water and see what happens. So basically allowing that freedom to explore the different types of rocks.
okay. More thoughts, or that's it?
Uh,
I mean, did you think of other than these anything else? Who was your partner, Kamal? Shilpa. Shilpa, would you like to add something?
Yeah, and even a thought just struck me that we can ask children to, you know, even about, if there's some construction about the bricks and all, if they can get something which is hard, uh, ask them to find and, get it in what they would think is a, rock, or, find around, and whatever they can pick up and.
Okay. And I'm just trying to capture your thoughts. So let me know if I've put up everything. Okay. Uh, anything else, Kamal and Shilpa? Anything that you guys thought, but we have not yet put up here.
there's one thing which I tried recently. Is basically measuring the weight by lifting different rocks in both the hands and seeing which one is heavier.
Okay. Okay. Um, others, would you like to add to what they are saying? Um, my invitation is for you to little more step out. So if I think in a more, let's call it conventional sense, I would think of these things, isn't it? Now, can we kind of step out of all of these, assuming that yeah, this is part of it. I'm not saying this is not part of it. Can we step out of it and say, hey, what else can we do with rocks? Let's let our minds flow in different directions and see if we can collate lots of more thoughts. Anybody
I'm
can
just
share.
trying to,
Yeah,
I'm trying to place myself in place of Daksh. So if I
yeah.
ask him, what else can he do? So one is he would make, which I can think of, he would make a train out of the rock. He would make a big rock. He would consider a big rock as a papa, a medium-sized rock as a mama, and then two baby rocks. So he would
Hmm.
make a family out of the rock. Uh, then he would basically put rocks one above the other and make a building out of the rock. So these are the ideas that I can get when I think from my son's perspective.
Sure, sure. So make things out of rocks. More ideas? And I'm not just asking you to. Now I'm asking everybody. Can you kind of little push yourself out of the little zone that we have?
Normally, Ratnesh Avinash, we
Yeah,
used to
Vinay.
play games with the rocks where, with the flat rocks or whatever shape, uh, try to bump it twice or thrice, and whoever bumps it more, that person wins. So
Mm-hmm.
that is another way of exploring the flatness and selection of a rock and then throwing it so that it is lighter as well as flat, and that shapes and size actually takes care of how far the rock goes and how much it bumps.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Two more ideas I can come up with. One is using the rock as a currency, as money,
Mm-hmm.
uh, basically with which we can trade, and also using rock as a gift.
Splashing of water game. That was another.
Okay, splashing water. More thoughts? Ashish has mentioned another game out of
Drawing
rock.
with the rock,
Ah, okay. Drawing with the rocks.
drawing.
Right, drawing with the rocks. What else? Come on, push more yourself. Everybody, push yourself more. Drawing with the rocks. Think of things you have never done. That's easier, right? Don't think of things that you have done. Think of things that you've never done and that you can do.
Coloring the rock to make it a puppet.
Okay, I've just put it as coloring rocks. Yeah,
Building castle.
right. I think we already took that. Make things out of rock. It could be train, it could be castle, it could be different things. What else? Come on, push yourself a little more. Think of things which you haven't done, but which can be done.
Normally aiming at a tree where to drop fruits or whatever. On the
Okay, all right. We did put, okay, use rocks as for splashing water or breaking fruits and skipping on water. Okay, more ideas?
balancing act on the rocks, different shapes.
Hmm. Yeah, okay, so Okay, rubbing them. I think we have when Shrishti is talking about rubbing, tasting. I think we have not even covered just having one rock and doing things with them. Doing things as in exploring it. So rubbing, tasting. What else? We haven't even covered tasting, smelling. Right? What else can we do? If you just had a rock in your hand, what all different things would you do? Can you do with it? Yeah, I think sounds was put. Okay. Right. I think sounds on different surfaces. I think the team mentioned. We have it in the first. What more? What more can we do?
Use it for massage.
Okay. Use it for massage. Use it for hurting others. Yeah. How about boiling them? Boiling, cooking, frying them. Have you fried a rock and seen what happens? Have you tried to boil a rock and see what happens? Uh, have you kept a rock under water for a month and seen what happened? Have you put detergent and then kept it and seen what has happened? Have you kept it in milk and seen what happens to a rock? Have you put some juice and seen what happens? Have you spit on a rock and seen what happens? Have you smashed the rocks with other rocks and hammer and chisel and just try to break it into as many pieces or even grind it to a powder and seen what happens? Have you just heated it on a flame and see if the rock burns and what temperature it may burn and what would happen if we continue to heat it for a long time? And what if we keep it in a freezer and see what happens to a rock if it is in a deep freezer for a long time? That's I'm not putting my ideas on the screen. Um, Also maybe observing the patterns, drawing the patterns, observing different colors, finding the same kind of rock but which has different colors in it. So in the same patch of soil, can I found the similar kind of rock but with different colors, imprints, and collect all possible color imprints as possible within the same rock and see whether I can get that and maybe if possible see it under at least a magnifying glass and see how does the rock look under a magnifying glass. Yep. Anybody more thoughts? I'm sure there can be more thoughts. There has to be. There's many more things that we can do. We can do to play around with the rocks. The idea is that we kind of start off a journey into something and not kind of have a particular limit that only this can be can be done. What if you uh, what if you boil milk with some rocks in it? As in clean rocks, you don't have to have dirty rocks in it. But let's say you collect some pebbles and you put them in the milk and boil it, or what else? You, in the tea and boil it. Does the tea taste change? Assuming that they are washed, does the milk taste change? What happens to the milk? What happens to the tea? What happens to water when we boil? Or what happens to the rock itself? What does it do? Which rocks let off a color? Which rocks let off an odor? Which let off a sound when they are boiling? Which rocks? Hmm, I don't know. I'm just thinking aloud. Which rocks can be made into a marble, and which rocks can be made into a pillar, and which rocks can be made into so on and so forth. We can go on.
Ratnesh,
Yeah,
now a thought comes to my mind. Basically, we can do anything and everything with anything and everything.
exactly.
But, but the constant is the resources, basically the time, the money involved, efforts involved. Now with the children, I think if we give them more freedom, so they can do all these experiments by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But getting involved with each and every experiment, I think would be a challenging task because, like we know of so many things, but even at home, uh, we ourselves are occupied with our we have our office work, and
Mm-hmm.
then we also need to sleep in the night, so we get only 2-3 hours, so which we use for our own learning and recreation. We do spend time with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
but then the kind of experiment which we are talking about, somewhere there's a belief that it would be like there is a lot of time and time involved in that.
Would somebody like to respond to that? I do.
With everything, if we go with everything, trying everything with them.
Okay, Dipali.
Actually, Kamal, it is like you give keys to children. They themselves come up with a lot of questions, and they themselves will start the journey of exploring.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
what.
yeah, there's no need to even tell them what to do. Once maybe we have conditioned them not to question and all, but once you just give those keys of asking questions, what can you do with the rocks? Generally, you see, even just the journey of collection of rocks. If you just go on a collection of rocks, that itself is sufficient. They themselves will start asking questions like, oh, this rock is like this, that rock is like this. And if there are many children, they would want to exchange the rocks. And some other child has gone somewhere else, since now they've started noticing rocks and pebbles. They come back, they exchange the rocks with each other. And so it's like you don't have to do much, you just have to give a key. Once you start that, they carry on the journey themselves. So
Uh, I think there's also a requirement of a facilitator. Like I see a lot of articles by Aditi on Facebook also about Arohi. Like using measurements, exploring measurements, exploring about potatoes and plants and all those things. So, although she may, I mean, what she mentioned, she does not play an active role, but she is there to support them. Now, when you have a big number of children, even one facilitator is like sufficient. But now, when we are talking about doing all these things at home, so like if I had a group of 10 kids, I would feel okay, fine. That at least I can, I can hire anyone and then I can make them, do all these things with the 10 kids. So I think exploration definitely is a very brilliant idea, but I'm just thinking out loud that how feasible it is for people like us. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying how it can be more feasible for us. So
you make tea, Kamal? Do you make tea in the kitchen?
yeah,
Hello.
I don't
Yeah.
think I
So
can make.
Okay, so it's about that. In case if you're making tea, even the small thing, I don't know how many of us explore if you want to explore, if it's important for you and it's important to introduce that to your child, so it takes around 15-20 minutes to make tea. So you can start your exploration from there, right? From, let's try all the different kinds of tea powder available. So what taste they give, and does it make any difference, the sugar that you add? Then you can try jaggery. Then
Then
just you
chili.
switching from sugar to jaggery, the child might say something else. Okay, let's try this. We
So
go
the
to coffee.
question,
It happened with my daughter, and there was something like brown sugar. I didn't even tell her. She said, "Okay, tomorrow we'll make tea with the brown sugar." And so they themselves are on that journey. They start that journey. So
the question is not what all we can do. Definitely, we can do a lot with everything at our home also. The question is basically when we start doing all these things, the time investment required. Like when you say tea,
Yeah, okay, so Kamal, I think what Dipali is trying to say is that the time investment required is zero. What she is trying to say is that you can very easily incorporate each of the exploration in everything else that you are doing. You don't have to spend a single second extra. Right? Not even a single second. That's what she's trying to say, that you take whatever 10 minutes to make and have tea, just do it every day differently. One day you add sugar, next day add jaggery, third day add chili, fourth day add garlic, fifth day add chewing gum, sixth day add poppins, seventh day add, and I think after 6,326 days of having different teas, you'll be somewhere.
okay, now the question comes in that let's say, for example, if I do that, now
Yeah.
I would not, I may or may not like the tea.
Yeah.
Then again, I have to prepare a tea. So basically, I'm
Why do you have
investing
to
more time.
again, why do you have to prepare again a tea? You enjoy that tea even if you don't like it. So what? It's still tea. It's just got added some flavor. Again, how open are we? All right. If you want to do everything how you have been doing, then that's absolutely fine. If you want to just add a little learning to everything that you do, right? Let's take a simple thing. How do you sit and drink tea? Right? I'm sure you can sit in 365 different ways over a year. Sit, make the same tea, but sit in a different way. 365 different postures of sitting. Right? And possibly by the end of the year, you would have created new yoga postures because you would be sitting in a different way every day. But if you sit the same way, if you drink the same tea, then that's it. There's nothing wrong or right about it. That's one way of doing it. But if you are going to do it differently, in any different way, then you are adding to your explorations. And I think what Dipali is saying is that you don't need any extra time. You don't need any extra money. You don't need any extra effort. What you need is a desire. Right? We are all ready to put our children into a science workshop. We are all ready to put our children and buy some science tools or science kits and science books and science vans and so on. But we are not ready to explore. In fact, by the age of 7, 8, 10, 12, children think that science will have to be taught to us, which is indeed sad. That somebody has to do something for us to learn something. But a 1 year old doesn't think like that. He doesn't think you have to do anything to teach him anything. He just goes ahead and just experiments and explore.
Hmm.
I think you need to pause and really, really think yourself as to what am I wanting. Forget how. The what am I wanting is far more important. If you know what do you want, anything, out of your cup of tea or out of how you sit or how do you drive or how do you take bath or how do you breathe, do anything, then it is available. It's like how Banu was asking the other day, do you do that every moment? And my answer was, no, I don't really need to do it every moment, but there are enough moments in a day for me to do things. Am I doing enough? Am I enjoying it enough? Am I exploring it enough? Am I playing around with it enough? When was the last you ate with your left hand, if, assuming you are a right-hander? When was the last you ate with the other side of the spoon? And so on. Meaning, I can go on and on and on. The idea is not saying that you aren't doing enough. I'm just saying you have to decide how much I want to do. I think the constraints are only in our mind. Okay, what has Shrishti written? I think Shrishti is trying to say, Kamal, that explore some horrible teas also. I'm sure you will discover some wonderful teas also. Yeah. So Kamal, it's not about you or it's not about time. It's more about what do I want, right? And if we are clear what we want, right, then there is so much to enjoy and explore. That's the whole point, right? Uh, if you think about the constraint, there's constraint in everything. Then we'll go back to a textbook. Then we'll say that that's science or that's nature intelligence. But if we kind of more uh, uh, unassuming or you know, then we can have it anywhere and everywhere. And even a little 10 minutes would be sufficient. Yes, Shilpa, I think it's time for a break. I agree with you completely. So let's take a what? How long a break? Since Shilpa has said, Shilpa, how long a break we want? Okay. Shilpa says, Deepali says 10 minutes. Shilpa, how long a break? Okay. It's 48 by my watch. So 12:03. Okay, let's start again. Uh, let's move on to other teams, and we'll come back to the thought that Kamal had raised about time, about feasibility. We'll come back to that thought in a different way. Uh, so, any other, which team next wants to share? Yep, which team is sharing next?
Okay, Ratnesh, Avinash.
Yeah, Avinash.
Yeah, I think me and Srishti actually discussed the first topic, learn about caterpillars and butterflies.
Okay, you have some nice music in your background.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's playing harmonium. Okay, let me try to shut the door then. 1 minute. One minute.
Yeah, you can carry on. At least to me, it is not really disturbing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, it is a holiday today for schools.
Okay.
So he's playing harmonium. Yeah. So what we discussed was very important points was one thing came where Srishti brought up the point where we can take them to gardens and explore the entire life cycle from caterpillar to butterflies.
Hmm.
That was one of the stuff which came into our discussions. The other part which we said is when we can actually relate to our own development cycle of a human being to a caterpillar to butterfly, right from baby in the womb to grandparents and how actually we develop because that is what they see and they can relate themselves when we are actually explaining them the insect life cycle in context of what they see every day, right from baby in the womb to then a kid, baby, then kid, then teenager, then
Hmm.
adult, uh, then middle-aged person, and then grandparents, the entire cycle. Then different shapes of butterflies, then colors which they can observe. Uh, then I think we were not able to explore the thing where she said excreta of a. I also came to know when she actually pinged in. I would never thought of that. The excreta of a caterpillar is converted into threads. So that is what she said. I was not able to come out with any ideas how to tell that to kids, but
Hmm.
yes, that is a very important observation she shared. Then we were seeing we can actually help us with a YouTube initially before we take them to the garden because multiple times you will be able to see it. Will you be able to see everything live is a question. So we can actually take the kids through YouTube videos and then actually take them to a live cycle, a live garden. That is what we said.
Okay.
Um, and then the observation of the entire one butterfly or a one caterpillar where they see and they talk about it, how many antennas, how many legs, what are the shapes
Hmm.
at different stages of it, and that is how we discussed. Anything else which I missed out? I think yeah, food patterns, what they eat normally at different stages.
I think Avinash, you have covered nearly all of them.
Okay.
Now I came up with an idea. Why not gift them a plant? Instead of just taking them,
Srishti, we are not able to hear you. You'll have to repeat. Your voice is very feeble.
I just came up with an idea just now that why not gift them a plant, a mulberry plant, wherein maybe they will be able to explore it on their own. Mulberry plant, where yeah, where the cocoon will grow and turn into a butterfly.
Okay. Okay. More ideas? Others? Can you add more ideas to this? Again, something which goes out of the regular things that we do when we think of butterflies and
Ratnesh, Ritu here.
yeah, Ritu.
If you find a pupa, happen to find a pupa in your garden, bring it home and observe it till it becomes a butterfly.
Hmm.
Uh, or if it's in your where we found a pupa,
Hmm.
that kind of that memory kind of stays then.
Which is something which I would like to ask everybody. The moment I talk about, or rather, we talk about butterfly and we talk about caterpillars and all, why does this thought about life cycle come? Why is that suddenly so important? Why is that so important for us to see, you know, different stages of butterfly, which I seriously doubt if any one of us has anyway seen really happening. Maybe some of us were very, very lucky or did those kind of things in our childhood. But other than that, how many of us have really seen? How does it matter? Why should I see a life cycle of a butterfly? Why should I get into these pupa and all of this? And if I find a pupa, why should I bring it home? And why should I have a memory of butterfly coming? I mean, what's the big deal about it? Why is this such a huge glamour topic in science subject that people spend hours or whatever, not just hours. I'm saying classes after classes on life cycle of a butterfly. I want to just question this. That again, are we really talking about nature intelligence, or uh, are we kind of again getting stuck with a very um, let's call it again a conditioned way of looking at butterflies and caterpillars?
Yes, I think it comes from our background, the way we have been taught.
So Ritu, you say it's an amazing experience to see caterpillar become, but I would say it's an amazing experience to see anything become anything. I mean, there are zillions of critters and creatures, and have you
Yeah,
seen how a mosquito becomes
yeah.
from a larvae or from anything becomes from anything? So why there's so much glamour
And
around,
tadpoles,
right?
ah,
Anything, a plant,
particularly butterflies.
every plant changes. Why particularly about this whole glamour around butterflies and all that? And what has that done? What has this kind of whatever? Again, I would say driven by textbook or driven by somebody who just thought that this should be something which is very important. I really don't know why it is so important. In fact, if you take children, or even when you were a child and you went into a garden and you saw butterflies, what was the first thing and possibly the only thing that you did? What did you do?
Try to catch them.
Yes.
Catch them.
Oh, why aren't we talking about catching them, smashing them into bits? Most of us, when we were little ones, we caught them,
Observe the colors
we
and
smashed them also, we broke their wings, we did all kinds of
see how the
so.
colors rub off on your hands and
Yes. Why didn't we say that let's kill a butterfly first? Why isn't that beautiful? Or is it something which is, no, 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 how can you do that? No, no, no. Be sensitive to butterflies. We can't kill a butterfly. Don't pluck flowers. Oh, come on. What are we trying to tell children? That whatever instinctively you feel, how you relate to nature, that's wrong. We will tell you the right way to relate to nature when we ourselves don't know what we are doing to our own nature. I want you to all to pause and think. Why this whole thing about butterfly? Why this whole thing about don't catch them, don't smash them, don't pluck their wings, don't do all of this? What is is the child a barbaric person who's going to kill everything in his environment? Or is it an inherent, let's call it intelligence in the child to be an explorer? And isn't that part of it to kill, to catch, to smash, to rub their wings, to explore what their colors are made up of, and so on and so forth?
Children do that with most insects, I think. Mostly
Yes.
ants or grasshoppers,
The moment they
caterpillars.
start crawling, they start smashing also. Not
Yeah,
everybody, but a lot of
catching,
them.
yeah, and even eating sometimes. Put them in their mouth.
Yes. I'm there. I'm stuck there. I'm saying, why this whole thing about it has to be beautified? Because the nature doesn't exist like that. In nature, there's nothing beautiful or not beautiful. Everything is just that thing. You know what I mean? There's no concept of beauty in nature. This concept of colors, this concept of pattern, this concept of camouflage, this concept of attracting a mate, and so on and so forth. But all of these exists in again zillion forms. But in itself, yeah, it just is. There is no beautiful, right, wrong, good, bad. And which is why I'm saying, to me, the first thought when it comes to butterflies is to actually catch one, actually hold one, actually see what I want to do with it. I must share with you this June, one new child joined, and almost in the first or the second week, he said, "I want what." We asked him, "What do you want to do?" He says, "I want to catch butterflies." So we said, "Very well, we'll supply you with a nice net in which you can catch butterflies." So he went about catching butterflies. In that net, it's a kind of a net box kind of a thing, made whole thing out of net. Uh, the interesting thing was not that he caught those butterflies. The interesting thing was what all he did with those. The first few couple of weeks, he was just observing, poking, just catching more and more. His whole attention was, can I catch? How many I can catch? Then from how many I can catch, it moved to how many different kinds I can catch. We tried to give him a book on butterflies and websites on butterflies. He didn't look at any one of them, which was absolutely fine. Then from moving from how many to how many different kinds, then he started observing them, and then he started wanting to do experiment with them. And then the first experiment was the most interesting one. What he did was he got a pair of speakers and he said, can the butterfly dance to the songs that I like? So he put those speakers, or rather headphones, not even speakers, headphones with his with his mom's mobile phone, and he put songs in it, and he put that in the net and see, and then he says, look, they are dancing. And he came up with this whole theory of how he can make the butterflies dance, and see, when you switch off the music they stop dancing, when you put the music they can start dancing, and his own theory. And that led to so many things going into that net. He would put water, he would put fruits, he would put this hide and seek biscuits, he will put all kinds of things into that net just to see how um, you know how the butterflies respond to it, and all in captivity. They were inside his net, and then somebody suggested to him, hey, they will not be liking that they are captured, why don't you release them at the end of the day and next day again catch them? And he liked that idea because for him the catching itself was so much fun, running around all around the bushes. So he started doing that. Every day he will catch, do his own whatever experiments or his own observations, and then release them. and that's it. And if you ask him about butterflies, he will not tell you anything because he does not have any conventional knowledge. He doesn't know what their parts are, that something is called antennae and something is called this. He has no zero knowledge about butterflies. In fact, you would say, oh, he has wasted his whole month. What has he done with his time? He knows nothing about butterflies. He can't identify the butterflies. He doesn't know their names. Some names he has given from his own side, the blue kind and the black kind. That is his own names, just for his own vocabulary and to communicate with his peers. But more than that, he knows nothing about butterflies. But he had some amazing time. About almost more than a month he spent just with butterflies. Obviously, that graduated into other insects and lizards and a lot of other things, which right now I'm not getting into. What do you say? And this is very recent. If you want, this whole his whole journey on butterflies is blogged through multiple blogs with photographs and videos and stuff like that.
Actually, Ramesh,
Yeah, yeah, Tipali, we can hear
what
you.
I have seen is basically children. Yeah. So actually, we had this our school is very against that. Teach children to protect it, don't pluck flowers or trees. But then I said no. I mean, uh, we are going to collect leaves and we're going to pluck it from the tree. But what I realized was they ended up seeing more of leaves and more of trees, and the plucking didn't make them a plucker. In fact, it made them connect with the nature and started doing noticing and started being more part of the nature actually. So I don't think plucking or killing makes them a killer or a destroyer of nature actually.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes I feel the problem is that we have these books and then we have these YouTubes and we have the National Geographics of the world. Not that they themselves are a problem; they're a wonderful resource, but they come in too soon. They come in too soon, and the children start also thinking that I have seen this somewhere. If today you talk about a snake, most children, at least in where I have interacted, most children talk about anaconda. And and I often joke with them, hey, hello, anaconda is found in Amazon, and the only Amazon I know is Amazon.com. Uh, what I'm trying to say is that we have kind of you know packaged things into there's nothing wrong with the package per se. The whole idea of subscribing to a package is what I'm really worried about, and I want to open up them to actually explore, actually observe, actually see, actually do, and actually not learn about it, but let these experiences just kind of hang in there, just be with the experience. Because nature intelligence is not about knowing a lot about something, it's about just being with something. This is something I've seen.
Ramesh,
Yeah, yeah, Ritu.
yeah, like I think Dipali was talking earlier. Like she said, they don't become pluckers or they don't keep catching butterflies. They grow over it also once they've done all their experimentation or whatever they want to know about it or do with it, and they learn from it or they feel it and experience it, they kind of grow over that phase. The time varies from each child to child and in which age group they are.
Yeah,
But I think they also, some of them do come into the sensitivity that maybe the butterfly doesn't like it, or maybe I should pluck the leaves and flowers out of the tree. But the feeling and the learning and the experience is it cannot come from drawing a leaf or a butterfly or a life cycle.
sure.
I think so much more comes from actually, touching, feeling, catching butterflies and all that.
Okay. Um, which was the other team? I think we had a tree team, right? Which team wants to go next? Let's take some more explorations and see how else can we look at. Uh, Ritu, you had a team up with Kusum. Could you get chance to discuss?
No, I really couldn't connect with Kusuma. I got disconnected.
Okay, but Kusum, you're there. We can still think alive. We are taking a body part, right? That was your thing. We're saying, let's say, for example, teeth or mouth, dental part. But that was just as an example. You could have taken any body part. Would Shall we do that? Shall we do that kind of collectively? Let's try and see what. Let's say we want them to learn about, teeth and dental needs and so on. How do we get them to learn about their body parts?
Kusum, I don't know if Kusum has some points to talk about, if she's already explored something.
No, Ritu, I have not explored anything, but we can have it right online directly.
Yeah, let's do it now.
Sure.
Yeah, Ritu, come on.
Uh, if it is teeth and mouth and all
The
that,
first,
maybe we could go to the
yeah, the
mirror
first
and
thing for
yeah, go ahead, Kusum.
the teeth. It was simple key. How does it grow? The teeth, how it grows? Are there some seeds growing in that mouth, in the gums? Hello,
You're saying
Ratnesh.
asking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
questions.
Okay, so you're
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
questions. Yeah, yeah, carry on. I'll document.
You're
Maybe we could
thinking
look into a
aloud, huh, Ratnesh?
look into a mirror and count how many teeth I have, how many does the child have, each one of us, how
Hmm.
many teeth do we have, how do they look, are they all the same, do they look different?
And why are some teeth so small and some big ones. Why everyone is having white teeth and not different color? Do you think we need to brush our teeth?
Why do we brush our teeth?
Animals don't brush teeth. Why we need to brush?
Yeah. Why do we need to brush?
Why we need to go for a dental checkup and all? Simply,
I never go for a dental checkup. Yeah, maybe some people regularly do.
and then you have to go on the cleaning part and all. The other people don't have to do all those things, especially the village people, or simply it's got spoiled and it is broken. It's gone.
What all can we bite into with our teeth? What all can we not break? What can we break? What do we
And
do
how
when
can we
we
grind?
can't break and yeah.
How does the teeth grind things and all into small powder, or paste? What makes it grind? And can we grow teeth if we plant it and all?
Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of questions. I want to know how specifically will you explore this? All of these, a lot of questions you asked. You asked, why do we brush our teeth? But you have to tell me what exactly will you do? Asking the question is fine. That's a good starting point, or rather an important starting point. But how do we take it forward then? Apart from just asking the question, hey, you know, why we can't bite into whatever, let's say a stone, a rock. The rock team has given us a rock as gift. Now, why are we not able to bite it? So, what do we do as an exploration? Or the simple one, why do we brush our teeth? Right? Do you know the answer? Why do we brush our teeth?
Uh, we could do experiments like let's not brush for a week and 3 or 4 days or a week and see what happens.
Nothing will happen.
In fact, some dentists say chewing gum is better than brushing teeth. So. um,
When the teeth are squeezed together, do they talk to each other? The give me space, give me space. Hello.
Right. So what I'm enjoying is a lot of wondering questions that Kusum is asking. Those are awesome. I love the questions. Yeah, do they talk to each other? Do they bite each other? I'm also so keep the questions coming on. I'm liking those and enjoying those questions. But I'm also asking how else can we explore the teeth? What all can we do with our teeth?
feel the different types of teeth and make them with clay or draw them.
Okay, make with clay or draw them. Others, everybody can join in. I think some of you are already in the chat window. More ideas? What one of the issues that I often have when we take something like a body part or hygiene, for example, is how to keep my own conditioning aside, because I think we have already whatever such fixed views about a lot of things. For example, brushing, right, or our teeth. We already have very we think we know. Anybody here who thinks we don't know about our teeth, or you think we know about our teeth? We know about brushing. We know about why we brush, how we should brush, what is required, what is not required. Is there a space for exploration? How Kamal was saying, do we have the time? Let's take this as an example. Anybody here, the problem, as I said, is that we already have very fixed notions, and those are the ones which come in place of explorations, which are the ones which stops us from trying out something new. So again, let me give an example. Some of our children said, "Hey, can we make our own toothpaste?" Right. Now that led to obviously study what is there on the toothpaste tube and what are toothpaste tube. In fact, the whole thing started off when one child remarked that on the toothpaste it is written uh, not suitable for children below certain. It was some 2 years or 3 years it was written. And the question came up, why will a toothpaste not be suitable for young children? What is there in toothpaste? Right? What kind of stuff is toothpaste made up of? And that led to a journey. And then children started thinking, can we not make our own toothpaste? And they tried with all kinds of things from kitchen. They mixed all kinds of stuff and made their toothpaste and started brushing using those toothpaste rather than the regular toothpaste. Uh, and obviously, so if you have to be open to some extent to trying out brushing with not the regular toothpaste, but different concoction every day. They mix black pepper, they mix white pepper, they mix uh, uh, all kinds of some. They tried baking soda, they tried uh, obviously salt, they tried salt and sugar, they tried all kinds of possible combinations. Right. Yeah, and then they tried neem twig, they tried shisham twig. We have lots of trees, so we tried a whole lot of different trees, right? And so what they do, and then we tried what something Ritu has put in the chat window. We also tried that let's not use any toothpaste. What does a toothpaste do? In any case, what does a toothpaste do? It's supposed to take off or dislodge the food particles. So why do we need toothpaste? We just need brush. And actually we explored that, and we suddenly realized what Ritu is talking about. Toothpaste is not required. Hey, we don't require toothpaste. And a whole lot of us have actually been brushing, including me. Almost, I'll give you my own example. A year and a half now since I used toothpaste. And I don't need any toothpaste. I just brush. Now, I'm saying all of that started because we kept our conditioning aside, because we were okay with playing around. We were not panicking inside that, oh, our mouth will go somewhere, our teeth will rot, or anything will happen. In fact, so much research, so much discussion about toothpaste led us to be more aware of our teeth and possibly clean them far better than people who just put a machine inside their mouth every day morning, gaja, 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 and finish it off. We realized possibly we were doing a much better cleaning. We were literally talking to each teeth, as I think Kusum was mentioning, right? Do they talk to each other? I don't know, but we were talking to each of our teeth. So often, when I think of many of these intelligences, and especially naturalistic intelligence, the ability to jump out of what I think I know is so very paramount. Otherwise, we get stuck with what we already know, especially as adults. And then we are not open to try out anything else. Okay. We brushed with what all? We threw away the brush for a month and we tried everything with carrots, with cucumbers, you name it, with steaks, with uh, all kinds of vegetables we tried brushing. Whatever we thought we could put in our mouth, we tried brushing with that. And each one we'll after that we'll discuss how was cucumber, how was carrot, how was um, and anything and everything. And the only thing we were not discussing was that will we get cavities or not. That was secondary. That was not the point. The point was that what is it that we are doing to our teeth? And you realize all of this was driven by children. Was not even I was just a very you can say willing participant in their exploration. I didn't have to do anything. Only at the brushing time they'll every day come up with a new uncle. Today we are brushing with this. Good, let's try that. Just like your tea, Kamal. Every day a new tree. Maybe you will not like that tea. Maybe I will not like a particular brush. But I can always. So to me, the keeping aside of my notions was so initially so difficult, but later on so much more enjoyable. And I learned something. 1.5 years since I used a toothpaste. Thoughts? It's almost the same thing with disease. When a child gets unwell, we are okay. Sorry, somebody wants to share. I'll pause. Yeah, Ritu, go ahead.
I was just saying, maybe if it is body parts, we could ask them to go around observing the whole day how everybody's teeth looks like, which color, do they look different, are they shaped different, are they angled different? So I think they'll come up with a lot of observation
Yeah.
because everyone's will be different, even if it's hands or feet or anything. They'll realize how unique everyone is and they'll learn to be more aware of such things probably.
So it is. I think it is. It is somewhere as important for us to wander outside our knowledge, outside our belief system, and question and see what are we doing and why are we doing and why can't we do it in a different way. There's so much of teaching that goes into children about brushing teeth. There's so little of exploration, so little of making friends with them. In fact, most children either do brushing out of pure habit or do brushing out of as much as they can avoid. But I'm saying, can we do it the third way, which is to enjoy our teeth, to play around with them, to wonder about them, to ask questions, to have discussions, to have explorations, and to come with our own thinking, to come from our own intelligence, from our own analysis, from our own understanding, rather than from a parent's or a textbook or even a doctor's for that matter. Do we have one more team? Deepali and Nitu?
Yeah. Um, Actually, I would not teach them to be sensitive to the nature, but just allow them to, if give a responsibility if, whether they want to grow a garden or something, or uh, yeah, just be with the plants around and you know, just that. Nothing like teaching aspect.
Okay. Nitu, you have some thoughts?
Yeah, we just thought like they should be allowed to feel the plants, be and try to feel them and to them. So once the children connect to something, I think they can understand them more.
But
That
how
is
would
the
they
idea.
connect to them?
Just let them feel and see the plants, touch them, see the thorns, the flowers. Just be around that, see the colors, just explore and see and connect to them.
Hmm. What else can we do?
Yeah, basically allow them to grow. If they're interested, allow them to grow a garden or nurse a tree.
Hmm. How about chopping a tree, cutting its branches,
Yeah,
peeling off
yeah,
its
actually,
peeling off its bark,
yeah,
chopping its
actually,
woods, do wood
yeah.
carving? I think
Actually,
yeah, yeah, Dipali.
yeah, yeah, we have doing this collecting of leaves.
Hmm.
We are so conditioned when we say collecting of leaves, go to different flowers. But from the same tree, we can collect different kinds of leaves at different times.
Hmm.
So when they become really old, the older leaves are very hard and, so hang in, like what you said, hang in there.
Hmm.
So just giving a lot of time and hanging in there. So from the same tree, very young ones with the rose plants, they have this very red color of leaves and the same leaves, the stages of leaves they collect, which maybe when I go to teach, maybe I don't even notice this or I don't even know it actually. So basically hanging in the nature. So
Um, yeah. Also, I
much
think,
more.
I think another notion that we seem to have is that nature is only in natural places, as in we need to go to gardens and we need to come to campuses like Arohi to experience nature. But what I have seen is that in any town, city, in any locality, uh, there is so much of, let's call it, wildlife. There's so much of nature. There are so many different kinds of trees. uh, we just don't go near them. We think that we need to go into a forest to learn about trees. But the tree next door or the tree on the road itself is a huge laboratory. It is filled with insects. It has birds visiting. As Dipali mentioned, it has trees. It has leaves of different kinds. It has pods of different kinds. It has smell of different kinds. It behaves differently in night, in sun, in uh, in whatever, in rain, for example, and so on. the tree itself can become a complete understanding of how, let's say, the whole whatever ecosystem works, because a tree has got so many aspects of it. Um and if I just get involved in that in many different ways, right? Whether I'm counting, I'm exploring the insects, I'm watching for the birds, I'm collecting the leaves, I'm peeling the bark, I'm chopping the wood, I'm carving on the wood, I'm collecting the flowers, I'm collecting the pods, I'm doing different things with the seeds, I'm obviously climbing the tree, and so on. All right. One tree can become a journey into many, many different directions. And also understanding the interrelatedness of everything, because to me in nature, nature isn't about one thing is good or one thing is bad, but it's about how everything is related to each other. And if we can explore into that, how this is related to, insects are related to leaves are related to wind is related to sun, and sun is related to something else, and so on. A whole chain of interrelationships that I can explore. Somehow when I was a kid, I was given the notion that, uh, whatever nature gives, and kind of, but that was almost like that we are away from the nature, and nature is something else, and I am something else, and the nature will give me something. Right? But when I participate in the nature without thinking that nature is giving or taking, but nature isn't about giving, taking, but is about relating with each other, how I am related to something and something else is related to something, then it becomes, then I understand the interrelatedness of the whole thing. And then the whole intelligence is about understanding how one affects the other, rather than how about, are we the only one? So the sensitivity is not so much in terms of the technical definition that I care for the trees, but the sensitivity is more in terms of understanding these relationships. And once I understand, I will have my own, let's call it, own version of sensitivity. So any thoughts on this relatedness or interrelatedness, and the importance not to study it as a diagram of web of life, but actually to understand it or experience it and enjoy it as part of one's daily life. Your thoughts?
Actually, how minimum we have made this, reach to nature. Actually, my husband had gone to this trek, Valley of Flowers, and
Mm-hmm.
we live in an apartment, and it looks like, it's very concrete. It looks like there are very few plants, but when we go on picking flowers and all that, um, actually kids do that, very small kids, since they're not conditioned, and they pluck a lot of flowers and all that. But for older kids, I had to initiate, okay, let's go and pick up some flowers, some different kinds of leaves and all that, because they had already been taught, like, don't destroy nature and all that. So this process is going on since 2 weeks. Like now it's June, a lot of flowers have come up and everything. So it's happening every June. They go collect a lot of flowers, and yeah, they start, mending the garden and all that during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my husband came back from Valley of Flowers last month, and he had brought some flowers. And he said, "Oh," and Ria's comment was, "Oh, you went Valley of Flowers to collect, and you brought only these many flowers, and show me the pictures." She saw the pictures and said, "To see flowers, you went so far. See my collection." And she had a hell lot of collection, and and she had, did you see? And actually, the children have, shown me very different kinds of insects come, but we fail to notice. I had never seen in our garden itself down, which is not massive garden, very different kind of, and then they show, okay, these kind of, did you see these insects? And they were the ones who showed me, like the butterflies fly, they can fly so high. If you see, like really high they fly. It's not like they come and sit only on the flowers and all that. So we miss in our day-to-day life, and we go to Valley of Flowers to experience and see flowers actually.
Right, right. Hey,
Yeah, here
nothing to put down value of flowers, right? I know what you're saying. So it's not about value of flowers. It's about realizing that the value of flowers exists in our homes also. It's about realizing that yes, we
exactly.
would love to go to value of flowers also, but let's also look at what is there right in our neighborhood and how all things are, little related.
So the point was that my husband didn't notice. I'm not saying he should have noticed, but he didn't notice the nature around here, and he really didn't know
Yes.
there's so many variety of flowers. He was actually very surprised,
Yeah, yeah,
to know that so many flowers are here, right here.
yeah, yeah. And also this again glamorization of okay, nature is when you go to a valley of flowers or to a forest or to a mountain, only there nature exists. Absolutely, the that is where I keep saying, why do I need to take a van to a child in a village and say I will teach you about science? There is so much science inside my mouth, inside my house, inside the very chapati which you would be having for lunch or the rice you will be having for lunch. There's so much science on your lunch table today, and if you can just start exploring there and seeing how so many things are related, it's just too amazing. It's also amazing to realize that actually nobody has comprehended the whole of it, right? One tends to look at one thing and says, this is the best. Another tends to look at something and says, that is the best. But if you start looking at their, and start enjoying without trying to know, without trying to master it, but start trying to enjoy different parts of it, then that becomes a very, very wholesome journey. Yeah, others, quick thoughts. We are almost at 1 o'clock. So, quick thoughts. Yeah, I'll kind of sum up. To me, this kind of comic strip kind of sums up, this whole idea about just letting ourselves roam around, wonder, and not get locked up in what we know. And this whole thought that who would have thought that the milk that comes out of the cow's udders is something that I would, we should drink. So it's amazing that where it all started. And if we think that we can start in many different directions today, then that to me is what it is all about. Your thoughts?
Hello, Shilpa
Yeah,
here.
Shilpa.
Yeah, when I'm just thinking about
Some disturbance in your mic,
I
Shilpa. Not able to hear you.
hello, can you hear me now?
Slightly better.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I was just thinking that we are. I mean, special. I mean, we are conditioned so much that it's kind of consciously, as far as I am concerned, it's a conscious effort that now to set that aside and start exploring things. Uh, Even when about plucking flowers, even about the butterflies. When the first thing catching butterflies, it was a complete no. How can you harm another life? So that is still in my mind right now. But yeah, but it has made me start thinking, why is it so? I mean, when because as a child, when a 1-year-old does it, he's just exploring it. There's no intention of harming anybody. But
Yeah.
but then it's actually got into the mind that it's our point of view that it will harm the creature or it will harm the insect or yeah, I mean a lot to uh, uh, explore, I would say.
Sure, sure.
Adding to what Shilpa was saying, Ritu here,
Yeah, Ritu.
I think the way we know our facts or the way the conditioning and all that, there's similar thing. Letting go of that is, it's like it's actually very challenging process because this weekend I visited a school which is on a mountain called Sholay School,
Yeah.
where the pathways are not at all lit, whether it's pitch dark, it's a full moon or a no moon, there is, because they don't even use electricity from the government supply. Uh, they have their own sustainable energy, so they use energy to a minimum. The pathways are not lit. The children are coming from their hostels to the dining hall and going back in the pitch dark.
Mm-hmm.
The Probably the little ones or the new ones are using a torch, but the older ones who've been there for a few years are walking through the pathway in pitch dark, and it was like surprising for us because there are snakes and there are lots of things. We even saw quite a few snakes,
Mm-hmm.
and and the same place where we saw a snake in the morning, in the afternoon the children are playing around the same rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband is like, how can you put your hand there? You saw a snake there in the morning and screamed. And the child is like, no, it'll go the other way. It'll not come this way. So I think they, as if they are not really, told everything or taught everything, they learn to sustain and live much better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know
they
better or not, but differently, yes. Yes, we yes.
differently, yeah.
Yes.
Probably they learn to explore on their own everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And that place, even the just the fact that they don't rely on the government's water supply and electricity supply itself was a huge surprise for us. They have their own solar panels. They have a little stream through which they have a micro hydel power plant, and they're about a group of 80 people living there who are not dependent on an energy source or a water source. They have rainwater harvesting, and it's amazing to see how it was a really eye-opening to see, that we think that we cannot survive with those basic uh, facilities, but then
Right, right.
just similar to what Arohi is doing now, going out and exploring and trying to live sustainably. It is a very beautiful place to
Actually, to
Sholay.
be very to clarify that we, as at least in ROE, we are not trying to live sustainably. At least that's not our motto. That's not our objective. We are not trying to do things so that we are more sustainable, but we are definitely trying to do things differently. We're trying to see, hey,
Different.
how else? See, if we are already used to a refrigerator, can we live without it? Now we aren't trying to say by not using refrigerator we are whatever saving electricity and all that. No, 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 no. We are saying we are just questioning a lot of things that we have been just so used to doing it, right? So the whole idea is not to be actually sustainable. I don't know what is sustainability. I don't want to get into that
Mm,
discussion, but to question
mm,
things and explore different ways of doing the same thing. Yeah, and when one explores different ways of doing things, one can do whichever way one likes to do. So there is, to us, there is nothing wrong in using, let's say, electricity. We are using solar panels, so what? But we are just wanting to explore it differently. We're trying to explore, can we live without fans? So we have been living last 3 years without any fans or anything. And it is just an exploration. It is nothing wrong in people living in fans. We are not saying, hey, we are holier than thou because we are living without fans, but we are saying, hey, it's a different experience. And then what it does to us is more interesting because we then know how the temperature varies, we know how the wind blows, we know which part of the tree is the shadiest and the coolest and so on. So the absence of fan is more to create a lot of journeys, more to create a lot of questions in mind, rather than trying to live sustainably. So that's the beauty of exploration. And that's what we are trying to do. I'm just clarifying. We're not at all trying to be sustainable. Though we may do a lot of things which people think is, oh, that's a very sustainable way of living because we don't have a lot of things. But the idea is to actually question and wonder and explore and wander and experiment and so on. Okay, I think we can kind of pause here with this comic strip. It's still one of my real favorites, and the whole expression on Calvin's face when he's thinking about who would have thought of it that way. It's just too good. Just shows that, in one way we have the capacity to really, really, really explore and to discover so many amazing things for ourselves. So let's sign off with that note, with this comic strip. Yep. Thank you.